Are you ready for this? Let's go on an adventure. There's a creek. The tall pines that you see, that's a beautiful little creek bottom. I've been down there, I've crossed that creek several times. Check out a little different area. That's the property line. The transition between the long leaf growing in and that taller zone over there. There's just shy of 1,300 acres here that belongs to me and every other Alabamian that's part of the Forever Wild program managed by the state. And all this can ever be, all that it can ever become, is only what God intended for it to be to begin with. And hopefully future generations will see what it'll never be virgin, but 100 years from now, untouched. 200 years from now, untouched, except to do proper prescribed burns and things like that to manage the habitat. That's all this will ever be. So I'm basically out here on a scout. It's been too hot to get out and do anything, at least for me. I don't get excited about getting into the woods until the air cools down a little bit. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not as I ease along here. But this is the kind of stuff that I'm out here looking for. A nice little doe track. Actually, she's not a little doe, she's a good sized doe. Archery season opens the 15th. I don't know if I'll be in the woods on the 15th or not. But I've got to start doing some scouting and find some places to set up. This particular tract of land that belongs to Forever Wild has some, I don't want to say strict stipulations, it has reasonable stipulations attached to it. Because of the size of the property, just shy of 1,300 acres, people can't hunt with center fire rifles. You can hunt deer with archery equipment or muzzle loaders, or you can use a shotgun with slugs. Somebody's been through here on a four-wheeler, it looks like, at some point. That's one of the taboos on this piece of property. Somebody was in here outlawing it's what they were doing. This is beautiful out here. This has a lot of potential. I think what we've got here, remember when I pointed out that creek bottom? I think I've come into it from another direction. I believe this is that same creek bottom. What we got here to the left, that's all private property. Oh, I just about walked into a big old spider web. But that yellow stripe on that tree, as long as I stay to the right of that yellow stripe, I'm on my hunting land. My hunting land and your hunting land if you're an Alabamian. Good deer crossed right there at one time. It's been so dry that this creek bottom is about dried up. There's an old buck track, huge buck track. I'm liking what I'm seeing down in here, folks. Yeah, buddy. I'm liking this real good. That's a major deer. It's old tracks. That's a major deer. Yeah, buddy. I think what I'm going to do here at this point, I could keep going and following the property line. And I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to circle this whole thing. I got a lot of exploring to do out here. Lots of exploring. But I think I'm going to cut back, go back across this creek bottom, and I'm going to follow that creek bed all the way back to that point where I told you I'd been across it a few times. Just see what I can see. Just picking my way along here at a very slow pace, almost a stalk hunting pace. Unless I'm mistaken, what appears to be somewhat of a trail that follows this creek bottom is going to take me to that crossing where the road through the middle of this place crosses the creek, the first creek. There's a fair deer track right there. Alright then, I don't know if you can see this. Big old footprint of a major deer. Major buck walks along here. I took a picture of it. I got to work that into the video. For an Alabama deer, that's an extremely, I should say, lower Alabama deer in the wild. Not one of them pen-raised things that eats corn and bought food all year long to grow his horns. For a lower Alabama woods deer, that's a significant deer. Maybe that pine or that oak. Set a ladder stand up there and enjoy some just sitting in the breeze time, watching the sights and listening to the sounds. And who knows, maybe that big old thing will come walking by. That'd be great. I was right about where that was going to come out. Check on the state of the creek. Looks to me like it's just as dry as a bone after all this drought that we've had. Back in the spring, when I did my little hammock hang on up the way from here, there was 6 inches of water or thereabouts running through here. That was full. Had to kind of pick my way through here. Dry weather sure has been hurting things. I want to look. If memory serves me, there's a deer trail on the right up here that follows that thick bottom. I want to check on that. Then I'll probably turn around and go for that slow mosey back to the vehicle. It's been kind of a workout for me today. I'm carrying my ruck with a little extra weight in it. Normally it weighs 21, 22 pounds. And then I put my web belt and another canteen and some other stuff in a pouch just to do a little weight training, a little conditioning. That deer trail is still there. I see a pine tree off in the distance. It might be a good place to set up a ladder stand. Set up an ambush site. That's the way you hunt the deer here in Alabama, folks, in this part of Alabama. You know, they call it stalk hunting when you look at what all the paperwork says. You know, it's hard to stalk hunt deer in this part of the world. Basically what you do, you still hunt. Find you a place to set up, hang a ladder or stand up a ladder stand, or use a climbing stand, or build a ground blind, and then you just sit, wait, do your pre-season scout. Keep scouting during season, because on public land like here and on the management areas, once people start moving around, the deer change their habits. So you got to constantly be studying what the deer are doing. I'm glad I wasn't depending on a drink of water out of this creek. I could probably get off down in there someplace and dig a hole and find some seep water, but I still got water in my canteen. Let's go to the car. Now that mess right there, that's where I've been standing. But you got big footprint, little footprint. It must have been two Januaries back, and they got some kind of handmade, homemade gear hauler. They got a ladder stand or something set up back in there. But the first time I walked in here, I saw that same set of tracks, except for them smaller tracks. They were about 2 sizes smaller than they are now. That's a beautiful thing to see. Father and son, or father and daughter, as the case may be. I don't know, I've not met them. But I'll tell you this, for 1,300 acres of public land, that and one other set of tracks that I saw all the way on the other end of this property at the other access, those are the only tracks that I've seen out here during hunting season. One other time I saw a couple of guys, in fact it was back in March when I had my hammock set up, just doing a little day ruck. There's a couple of guys come walking this way, just walking the trail, so to speak, walking the road. There's a good road down the middle of this, and all this rock on it, that's something new. They've done that since March. Back in March, all this was burned off. They did a control burn to get rid of the undesirable stuff, the gallberry. It was almost taken over with old gallberry, but they did a control burn and got rid of that, and the grasses and the other stuff that the game that the wildlife need. That's coming back in nicely. That was a beautiful, beautiful scout. Very productive. Found some good spots. And I want to say thank you to all of you who subscribe to these videos. I'm not in this to make money. I'm not looking to monetize or none of that kind of business. I'm just having fun. Fun in the woods. An old guy in the woods having fun. That's what it's about for me. If I can share something and get somebody else enthusiastic about being out in the outdoors in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it's hunting, fishing, trapping, kayaking, canoeing, or just walking in the woods and sitting on a dang stump and listening to the squirrels chatter. Whatever it is, man, get out, you know, guys, gals, get out into the woods. Enjoy the woods. Enjoy it. Return to basics. One of the things I was thinking about, you know, not to go getting all philosophical and all that kind of business, but I can't help it. I'm kind of a philosophical dude, you know. What Forever Wild is doing in this state with pieces of land like this, in purchasing them and allowing them to return to themselves. That's life. That's what life is about. And by getting out into the woods, getting outdoors, out of our comfort zones, off the couch, getting out here, you begin to return to yourself. You begin to find yourself. You find something real. You find something tangible. You find something that's not artificial, synthetic. That's all nature out there. With all the trials and all the tribulations and all the challenges, all the beauty of it, it's a beautiful place. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Click a like on stuff. Let me know you've been around. I'll see you on the next one, folks.